You are listening to The Testimonial, a podcast of critical essays, bearing witness to the forces that shape our world. We conduct historical autopsies, expose hidden systems, and decode the profound truths within culture, politics, and the seemingly whimsical. Each episode is a deep dive, a forensic investigation. This is the evidence. You are about to hear the testimony on the miracle in the mold, the accidental arms race against bacteria. This testimony begins with a miracle, a forgotten petri dish containing a blob of mold that became a beacon, conquering our oldest enemy, bacterial infection.
Because this isn't just a story about a miracle. It's also about how we squandered it. You see, that miracle was fragile, and we were absolutely reckless with this gift. Now, bacteria are fighting back with frightening efficiency, and the miracle is fading, pushing us toward a post-antibiotic era that we are profoundly unprepared for.
And look, don't think for a second this is some far-off sci-fi problem. It's happening right now. We are literally watching the reversal of one of humanity's greatest achievements. This is the story of the best weapon we ever stumbled upon and how we are, unbelievably, systematically disarming ourselves.
To really understand this betrayal, we have to first get past the simple, almost cartoonish myth of the lone genius in a lab coat. The real story is so much more interesting. So who really gets the credit? Well, the answer isn't one person. It's this long, fascinating chain of discovery that stretches back thousands of years. It's a story of ancient intuition, happy accidents, and just sheer wartime desperation.
I mean, this story starts long before Alexander Fleming. We're talking ancient Egyptians putting moldy bread on infected wounds. Now, Fleming made the famous observation, sure, but he couldn't turn it into a medicine. It took the massive all-hands-on-deck crusade of the Oxford team during World War II to finally produce it. And then it was Dorothy Hodgkin who mapped its atomic structure so we could finally understand what we were dealing with.
See what I'm getting at? This was a relay race, not a solo sprint. A hard-won, collective victory built on the shoulders of so many people, from ancient healers to unsung scientists. And that collaborative spirit is precisely what makes our failure to protect this miracle such a profound, historical betrayal. Okay, so after the war, we entered what everyone called the golden age of antibiotic discovery. It felt like we'd won. But, this era of what seemed like reckless abundance, it actually contained the seeds of its own collapse. Now, resistance, that was always going to happen. It's just biology, right? Straight up Darwinism. In fact, scientists have found resistance genes locked away in 30,000-year-old permafrost. The bacteria were always armed. Our actions, well, we just poured jet fuel in that ancient fire.
So how did we take this natural process and put it into hyperdrive? Well, we created a crisis by systematically misusing these miracle drugs in two key places, in our agriculture and in our own medicine cabinets.
Let's start with the farms. And this is just wild. In the United States, a staggering 70% of medically important antibiotics are not used to treat sick people. Nope. They're fed to livestock, often just to make them grow a little bit faster. We've turned our factory farms into incubators for superbugs.
I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It captures the terrifying scale of the problem perfectly. We essentially created a global network of resistance factories, all in the name of producing cheaper meat. And then there was the second front. Us, our own misuse. We got hooked on the miracle cure mentality, and that turned our clinics into another part of the problem. We demanded antibiotics for viruses like the common cold, where they do literally nothing. Every single one of those unnecessary prescriptions was another roll of the evolutionary dice, wiping out our good bacteria and giving any resistant bugs a free pass to multiply like crazy. So, we're facing this massive crisis. You'd think every pharmaceutical company on the planet would be in a mad dash to find new drugs. Instead, there's just silence. And the reason? It's a total catastrophic market failure. Here's the brutal, simple logic of it. A successful new antibiotic must be used as little as possible to preserve its power. That makes it a commercial failure from day one. So when you compare that to a billion-dollar drug for a chronic illness that people take every day, well, you can see why companies have just stopped trying. It's often a money-losing proposition.
Let that sink in for a second. 1987. The innovation pipeline that once gushed with miracle cures has run completely dry, and it's a direct result of that broken economic model.
And the consequences of this are genuinely terrifying. The pillars of modern medicine, we're talking surgery, cancer treatments, intensive care, they all depend on having a safety net of effective antibiotics. As that net phrase, we are entering a world where the biggest medical achievements of the last 80 years are being systematically revoked.
Okay, so that's a lot of bad news. A lot. But this is not a life sentence. Restoration is possible. We can pull back from the brink, but only if we act with the same urgency that once fueled that Oxford team's crusade.
So what does that look like? Well, we have to tackle these systemic failures with systemic solutions. First, we've got to fix the broken market with new incentives that reward discovery, not just sales. Second, we have to transform agriculture by banning the misuse of these crucial antibiotics as growth promoters. And finally, we need to innovate our way forward with better diagnostics to stop overprescription and develop entirely new therapies.
When you step back, it's a profound paradox. We were gifted a power over nature we never truly understood, and in our haste to use it, we broke it. The question now is whether we can rediscover the wisdom of the ancients, the patience and respect the mold itself demands, before it is too late. You have been listening to the testimonial on the miracle in the mold, the accidental arms race against bacteria. Follow us on social media at The Testimonial for updates and to join the conversation. If you believe a topic deserves a testimonial, let us know.